Good morning students. This is video number 9 part 1 and here we will discuss chapter number 4, the structure of the atom. Atom means the smallest unit. Now first of all we will study view of Kinnaird. Now beta, according to Kinnaird, matter is what? That is anything occupies space and has a mass. For example, this pencil is a matter because it has mass and it occupies space. Now matter is not continuous, means it does not change with time. And according to Kinnaird, matter is made up of tiny particles called Parmanus. Underline, tiny particles called Parmanus. Now it means that if this is a matter, this matter is made up of tiny particles. These are tiny particles and each tiny particle is called as Parmanu. Each tiny particle is called as Parmanu according to Kinnaird. Now beta, this Parmanu word taken from Sanskrit word Param. Param means final or ultimate, final, and Anu means particle, means that is the final particle, that is the final smallest particle which is not further subdivided, that particle, final particle. Next we are having view of Democritus and Leucippus. Now beta, according to Democritus and Leucippus, if we take any piece of substance, a piece of substance, and we keep on dividing that piece of substance, ultimately we will get a particle that could not be further subdivided. Okay, means that on dividing a piece of substance, one would ultimately get a particle that would not be further subdivided. That tiny particle, means that indivisible particle, will be called as atom. Okay, underline, will be called as atom. Now this word atom taken from a Greek word atoms. Atoms means individual, means this is only a one single smallest particle which is not further subdivided into parts. That particle is called as atom according to Democritus and Leucippus. Next we study Dalton's theory. Dalton is a name of scientist and he given one theory called as Dalton's theory or atomic theory. According to this theory, elements are made up of very small particles of matter called atoms. Means that every element made up of small particles called atoms. Every element made up of atoms. For example, if we talk about hydrogen element, H2, this hydrogen element made up of two hydrogen atoms will combine and will form a hydrogen element. Now atoms are indivisible, means that we are not able to divide atom further. The atoms of an element have the same weight, means that if we talk about two atoms of hydrogen, first atom of hydrogen, second atom of hydrogen, then both atoms will have same mass, this one having a 1 and this one having a 1 unit mass. Now the atoms of different elements have different weights. It means that if we take one atom of hydrogen and one atom of oxygen, mass of hydrogen atom is 1 unit and of oxygen atom is 16 unit. So if atoms will be different, then accordingly their masses will be different. Next postulate, it is the atom of an element that take part in chemical reaction. What take part in chemical reaction? Atom of element. Now the atoms of an element combine in a simple numerical ratio with those of other elements to form a compound. For example, if we talk about hydrogen atom and oxygen atom, these two atoms they will combine, means two hydrogen atoms and one oxygen atom, they will combine and they will form a molecule water. Water is compound, means that water is made up of two hydrogen atoms and one oxygen atom. Okay, so atoms of an element combine in simple numerical ratio and they will form a compound. So what is atom beta? Actually atom is the smallest part of an element. Smallest part of an element. Underline, atom is the smallest part of an element and atom only takes part in chemical reaction. Underline, it takes part in chemical reaction. This is the smallest part of an element. Now, subatomic particles. Now students, according to Dalton, atoms are indivisible, means atoms not further subdivided. But further studies proved that atoms are made up of particles. Okay, means that in atom we are having small particles, and these small particles called subatomic particles. Okay, subatomic particles. Now subatomic means these are particles present inside the atom. Okay, and we are having three subatomic particles we will study. One is proton. Now proton is what beta? This is a particle with positive charge. Next one is electron. This is particle with negative charge. And next one is neutron, which is a particle with zero charge. Neutron means neutral. Proton means positive. Electron means negative charge. Okay, so these are subatomic particles, and these subatomic particles, they are present inside the atom. Okay, now where protons present, where neutrons, and where electrons present. So we will talk about now the structure of atom. Structure of atom. Center of each atom is called as nucleus. If this is the center of an atom, this center will be called as nucleus. Now in nucleus of an atom we are having protons and neutrons, means we are having positively charged particles and negatively charged particles. Now around this nucleus we are having circular paths. These circular paths are called as shells. Like first one is called as K shell, second is called as L shell, and same way third is called as M shell, and next one is called as N shell. Now in these shells we are having electrons. Now electrons we know that they are negatively charged and protons are positively charged, and atom is always neutral. Neutral means overall charge on an atom will be 0. It means that number of protons or number of positively charged particles will be equals to number of electrons or number of negatively charged particles. Now these protons present in the center, means present in the nucleus, they are not in motion, they are stationary. But electrons present in shells, they are in motion. Okay, this is the structure of an atom. So you can see over here also we are having three types of subatomic particles, means we are having three type of fundamental particles. Fundamental particles means the particles from which atom is made up. Okay, so these are electrons, protons, neutrons, negatively charged, positively charged, and we will have a no charge. Now we study discovery of subatomic particles. First one, discovery of electron, means is discovery of negatively charged particle. Now electron discovered from cathode rays, and cathode rays discovered by J.J. Thomson. Now we all know that gases are bad conductors of electricity, but there is one condition. If we decrease the pressure of gas and if we apply very high voltage, approximate 10,000 volt, then gas can be changed into good conductor of electricity. Okay, so it can be a good conductor of electricity under low pressure and when we apply high voltage. Now these conditions we achieve in a tube, and that tube will be called as a discharge tube. So discovery of cathode rays. So for this J.J. Thomson taken one tube, one long glass tube. This blue colored, you can see this is a long glass tube, and this long glass tube is called as the discharge tube. Now at the two ends of this tube, you can see this end and this end, we are having two plates. Okay, so this one is the first plate and this is the second plate. These two plates are called as electrodes. Now what we will do, we will connect these two electrodes with high voltage source. Okay, so here we are having a source of electricity, so we will connect this electrode with this terminal, this we will connect with the another terminal. Now this short one, all of you know that is this one is a negative terminal, this long one is a positive terminal. So beta see, electrode which we will connect with the negative terminal, is called as the cathode electrode. This electrode is called as the cathode electrode. And electrode which we will connect with the positive terminal of the battery is called as the anode electrode. Okay, electrodes are what? These are metallic plates, and negative electrode is called as the cathode electrode, and a positive electrode is called as the anode electrode. Now here we are having an exhaust pump, and this pump we will use to reduce the pressure of gas inside the discharge tube. Means inside the discharge tube we know that we are having a gas. So what we will do, now we lower the pressure of gas inside the discharge tube by removing some amount of gas through this exhaust pump, and after that we will connect these two electrodes to high voltage source. Now after connecting beta, we will see that the end of tube opposite to cathode, this one is cathode, so this opposite end will starts glowing, and this phenomena is called as fluorescence. Underline, this phenomena is called as fluorescence. Now beta, J.J. Thomson said that there is a glow at the opposite end of a cathode electrode, because from cathode side, that is from cathode electrode, rays are going, okay, they are going away from cathode and they are going towards anode. Means that because of these rays there is a glow produced at this end. Means when these rays they will fall on this end of a discharge tube, there will be a glow produced. Okay, now these rays are called as cathode rays. Now beta see, according to J.J. Thomson, these rays they are going away from cathode. Cathode is negatively charged. It means that these rays they are made up of negatively charged particles. Negatively charged particles called as electrons. Okay, means that this negative is repelling this negative. Okay, so like beta we all know that north pole repel each other, south pole repel each other, north south attract each other. So same way similar charges repel each other while opposite charges attract each other. Okay, so if rays are going away from cathode, it means rays are made up of negatively charged particles. If they are attracted towards anode, means towards a positive electrode, it means they are negatively charged particles. Okay, so like this way we are having a discovery of electron. Now we study few characteristics of cathode rays. First one, they originate at the cathode and travel in a straight line. Means that cathode rays travel in a straight line. So to prove this beta, what we will do, we will keep one metallic object in the center of cathode and anode electrode, and we will see that shadow of this metallic object will be obtained on the other side. So if this shadow is obtained, it means that these rays they are traveling in a straight line only. Next, cathode rays are a stream of particles. How we prove it beta? Stream of moving particles. We will keep a small paddle wheels in between cathode and anode electrodes, and we will see that when cathode rays they will strike on these paddle wheels will start moving. Okay, so this will prove that cathode rays are made up of particles, and particles are in motion. Next, particles constituting cathode rays are negatively charged. For this what we will do, we will apply electric field around these cathode rays, positive, negative, and we will see that these cathode rays they will bend towards positive. Okay, why? Because they are negatively charged, therefore they will be attracted towards positive and repelled by negative. So there will be a deviation, there will be a change in path of cathode rays when we apply electric field. Next, the particles constituting cathode rays are all alike. Means that all particles, if we take in this discharge tube, if we take a hydrogen gas, if we take oxygen gas, or if we take a nitrogen gas, then particles of cathode rays will not change, they remain the same, they are alike. Okay, From this experiment, J.J. Thomson concluded that particles constituting cathode rays are universal constituents of all elements, means they are present in all elements, and these particles are called as electrons. Now, relative charge and mass of electron. Charge of electron is -1, means negative charge, negative, that is -1 unit, and mass of electron is 1 by 8040 times mass of hydrogen atom. Mass of hydrogen atom is very less, and mass of electron is again 1 by 1840 times the mass of hydrogen. It means that mass of electron is very less. It is negligible. Now we know atom is electrically neutral. If negatively charged particle electron is present in an atom, it means that a positively charged particle definitely will be there. So proton is a positively charged particle and discovered from anode rays discovered by Goldstein. So again Goldstein performed experiment using a discharge tube. Now this is a discharge tube. In discharge tube Goldstein taken one gas at low pressure. Now beta, when we connect these two electrodes, this is first electrode, this is second electrode. If we connect these two electrodes with high voltage, so positive electrode will be electrode that will be connected with the positive terminal of battery, and the negative electrode will be a electrode that will be connected with the negative terminal of battery. Positive is anode and negative is cathode, we have studied. Now beta, here Goldstein taken a perforated cathode. Perforated cathode means that a cathode having a small holes. You can see over here this electrode having a small holes. This is a perforated cathode electrode. Now what will happen over here beta? When we apply high voltage, then rays, we know that rays will go from cathode towards anode called as cathode rays, having a negatively charged particles, we studied. But at the same time, from anode electrode, rays will go towards cathode electrode. Okay, now these rays are positively charged, means positive rays, and these rays are called as anode rays. Rays going from anode towards cathode. Now beta, anode is positively charged, that's why these rays, they are positively charged, because this anode is positive, that's why anode is repelling these positive rays, and these rays going towards cathode, because cathode is negative, so this one is attracting these positive rays. So positive rays going from anode towards cathode. Now cathode is perforated, so what will happen? These rays, they will pass through these holes and they will be seen on the other side of cathode electrode. So here we are having only positive rays called as anode rays. Now these anode rays, when they will fall on a screen that we will apply on a discharge tube. So here when these rays, they will fall on the side of a discharge tube, we will see that glow will be produced over here. This process is called as a fluorescence. Okay, now beta, it means that rays going from anode towards cathode, they are positively charged. Actually they are made up of positively charged particles called as protons. Okay, now these anode rays also called as canal rays, because they just move through perforation. Okay, they move through holes, that's why they are called as the canal rays, or they are called as the anode rays, and these are also called as the positive rays. Now beta, these positive rays depend upon the type of gas taken inside the discharge tube. If we will take a hydrogen gas, will be different. If we take oxygen gas, will be different. If we take nitrogen gas, will be different. Means that particles of anode rays are not alike, they are different. They depend upon a type of gas taken inside the discharge tube. So what are different characteristics of anode rays? Anode rays are stream of positively charged particles. This we can prove. If we apply electric field around this discharge tube, we will see that anode rays, they will deflect towards a negative terminal. Okay, because they are positively charged, so they will be attracted towards negative and repelled by positive. Now the particles constituting anode rays differ from gas to gas. Means if we will take a hydrogen will be different, if we take a nitrogen will be different, if oxygen will be different. Means that particles of anode rays depend upon the type of gas taken inside the discharge tube. Now what constitutes anode rays beta? We know that electrons constituting cathode rays, they come from atom only. Okay, they come from atom. Now electrons, negatively charged particles, when they will be coming from an atom, then atom must be left with equivalent amount of positive charge. Okay, that positively charged particles forming over here anode rays, they are constituting over here anode rays. So if this A is an atom of gas, now this A atom of gas, it will first of all give one electron, negatively charged particle. This negatively charged particle will give us cathode rays. Now if negatively charged particle is removed, we left with only a positive part. That positive part is A positive, and this will give us anode rays. Okay, same way if we will have a B atom of gas, that B atom of gas will again give us one electron. This electron will give us cathode ray and will give us one positive particle B positive and will give us anode rays. And you can see over here anode rays in case of atom A different and anode ray in case of atom B will be different. Means the particles present in anode rays will be different, while particles present in cathode rays, they will be alike, they will be same. Now beta, if we talk about hydrogen atom, all of you have studied that hydrogen atom contain only one proton and one electron. There is no neutron present in hydrogen atom. Okay, so if we take hydrogen gas in this charge tube, then what will happen? Hydrogen gas, one atom of that hydrogen gas will give us electron, negatively charged particle. This negatively charged particle will give cathode ray. And if we talk about the positive part, that is the H positive. Now this H positive part is called as proton, because in case of hydrogen we are having only proton and electron. If electron will be removed, we left with only a proton. So this H positive is called as proton, and this proton will give us anode ray. Means number of protons will give us anode rays and number of electrons will give us cathode rays. So anode rays are made up of protons. They are made up of protons. They depend upon type of gas taken. Then cathode rays made up of electrons. They will not depend upon type of gas taken. Relative charge and mass of proton, charge will be +1 and mass will be 1 unit, same as that of hydrogen. We studied for electron, mass is 1/1840 times mass of hydrogen, means mass of electron negligible, while mass of proton is same as that of hydrogen. So again mass of proton will be 1840 times the mass of electron, means proton is heavier than electron. Now we talk about discovery of neutron. Beta, all of you know that mass of electron is negligible and mass of proton is 1 unit. Okay. If we talk about hydrogen atom, we know that in hydrogen atom we are having one proton and one electron. Electron having negligible mass and proton having a mass 1 unit. Now mass of hydrogen is also 1 unit. But if we take example of another atoms like oxygen, oxygen having 8 protons and 8 electrons. Okay. Now beta, mass of electrons again negligible. Mass of proton is there only. So it is expected that mass of oxygen will be 8 unit. 8 unit. For one proton having 1 unit, so 8 protons will have a 8 unit. But actual mass of oxygen coming 16 unit. 16 unit means double of proton. It means that along with the protons and electrons, some other particles, some other subatomic particles are also there. Okay, but these particles will be neutral. Neutral means they will have no charge, but their mass will be equals to mass of proton. That's why we will have a 8 plus 8 and we will get 16 unit. And these particles are called as neutrons. So what are neutrons beta? These are also subatomic particles having no charge but mass equals to protons. Okay, so here we will have a 8 neutrons also. So mass of this oxygen will be equals to 8 unit because of 8 protons, and 8 units because of 8 neutrons will be equals to 16 unit. Now neutron discovered by James Chadwick with the help of nuclear reaction. Beta, he bombarded beryllium atom with alpha particle and he seen that one carbon atom and one neutron, one more particle eliminated. That particle called as neutron. Now what is alpha particle, beta? We know that if we talk about helium, symbol is capital H small e. Helium atom contain 2 protons, 2 electrons and 2 neutrons. Now beta, if from this helium atom we remove these 2 electrons, we left with only protons and neutrons. That helium atom having a 2 positive charge. Why 2 positive charge? Because negatively charged particles removed, we left with 2 positive particles, so 2 positive charge. This is called as helium nucleus because we are having only protons and neutrons present in nucleus. This helium nucleus is called as alpha particle. So this alpha particle, when bombarded with beryllium, there will be a formation of carbon atom and one more particle, that particle called as a neutron according to Chadwick. Now beta, we talk about mass and charge of a neutron. We know that for electron, charge is -1, mass is 1 by 1840 times mass of hydrogen. Proton charge is 1 unit, mass is 1 unit. Neutron charge is 0 and mass is again 1 unit, which is similar to that of proton. Okay, so mass of electron negligible, mass of proton 1 unit, mass of neutron again 1 unit. Discovery of nucleus. Nucleus discovered by Rutherford using alpha particle scattering experiment. Alpha particle is helium nucleus. So Rutherford bombarded thin gold foil with alpha particles. So just imagine this is one atom of gold, and when alpha particles bombarded on this atom of gold, what will happen, beta? He observed that most of the alpha particles went straight. Most of the alpha particles went straight. It means most of the space inside atom empty. Now few alpha particles deviate slightly from their path. Okay, only some alpha particles, like this alpha particle deviating slightly from its path. Now why? Because alpha particles are positively charged and some positive charge is present in the center, and that positive charge is repelling this positive particle and this positive particle deviating from its path. Now very few particles means that particle that will be in the center. This particle almost retraced its path. Okay, why? Because this particle is now going in straight line, but when it will come close to this positively charged particle, it will be repelled and it will retrace its path. Okay, that's why it will come back on the same side. Now beta, from all these points, Rutherford concluded that in the center of an atom something is present, and that is a positively charged. Okay, and that is nothing but a nucleus of an atom. And electrons, they revolve around this nucleus. So what is structure of an atom? In the center of an atom we are having a nucleus in which protons and neutrons present. Protons positively charged, neutrons no charge. Around nucleus we are having a circular paths called as shells, and in these shells electrons are present. Electrons are in motion, they are moving. Protons and neutrons, they are not moving. Okay, electrons are negatively charged, protons are positively charged. Atom is neutral, so number of protons equals to number of electrons. Now we talk about number of subatomic particles in an atom, means number of electrons, number of protons or number of neutrons present. So here we will study two definitions. One is atomic number, other is mass number. Atomic number also called as proton number. We denote it with capital Z. Mass number we denote it with capital A. What is atomic number or proton number? This is number of protons present in the nucleus of an atom. Now mass number is sum of numbers of protons and neutrons. Total number of protons and total number of neutrons present in an atom is called as a mass number. So here in a nucleus we are having a protons and neutrons. So sum of protons and neutrons called as mass number A, and total number of protons alone called as the atomic number. And we know that beta atom is electrically neutral, so number of electrons will be equals to number of protons. So what we say that atomic number is number of electrons or number of protons present in an atom. So number of electrons is equals to Z, or Z is equals to number of protons. Now mass number A is equals to number of neutrons plus number of protons. Okay, number of protons equals to Z, so A is equals to N plus Z. So number of neutrons will be equals to mass number minus the atomic number, A minus Z. Next we study nuclide symbol. Now in order to write a symbol of any nuclide, you should know about atomic number and mass number of that element. For example, for hydrogen, atomic number is 1, mass number is 1. For helium, atomic number is 2, mass number is 2. So here they have written all elements along with their atomic numbers and mass numbers. You have to learn each element with atomic number and with mass number. Okay, and while learning you will see that beta mass number many times will be equals to 2 times atomic number, or will be equals to 2 times atomic number plus 1. Okay, like for helium this is 2, this is 4. For lithium this is 3, this is 7. 3 to the 6 plus 1, 7. So this type of relation you will see in all. Okay, so if beta there will be one question. For example, if mass number of any element will be given to you is equals to 16 and atomic number will be given to you is equals to 8. Now you have to calculate number of electrons, number of protons and number of neutrons. How will you calculate? We know that number of electrons is equals to number of protons is equals to Z is equals to 8. And we also know that A is equals to number of proton plus number of neutron. So A is given to us 16. So we will write over here 16 is equals to number of protons. We have calculated 6. So this will be equals to 6 plus number of neutron. So number of neutron will be equals to 16 minus 6. It will equals to 10. So from mass number and from atomic number you can calculate number of subatomic particles, means number of electrons, number of protons and number of neutrons. Now we learn to write nuclide symbols. In order to learn it beta, first of all you should know atomic number and mass number of different elements. For example, if you wanna write nuclide symbol of boron, boron having atomic number 5 and mass number 11. So how we will write? First of all you will write symbol of that element X. Now mass number you will write as a superscript and atomic number you will write as a subscript. Okay, so atomic number you will write as a subscript, means atomic number we will write over here and mass number we will write over here. This is a nuclide symbol. So for boron it will be B 5 atomic number and 7 mass number. So we will write 5 over here and 11 over here. This is a nuclide symbol of boron. Okay, so you can see here also nuclide symbol expressed as XZA, where X is a type of element, Z is atomic number and A is a mass number. So for hydrogen nuclide symbol will be H11, for carbon will be C612, for nitrogen will be N714, where 7 is atomic number and 16 is mass number. For oxygen O816, 8 is atomic number, 16 is mass number and O is a symbol of oxygen. Same way for chlorine it will be Cl1735, 17 atomic number, 35 is a mass number. We study how electrons are arranged in atom. Beta, this we will study according to Bohr model only. And according to Bohr model, in the center of each atom we are having a nucleus in which in which neutrons and protons present. Around nucleus we are having a circular paths. Each circular path is called as shell. So first circular path is called as K shell, second is L shell, third is M shell, and fourth is N shell. Now while writing or while filling electrons or while arranging electrons in these shells, first of all we will beta put in K shell maximum of 2 electrons, in L shell maximum of 8 we put here only, and in M again we will put 8, and in N again we will put 8 electrons according to Bohr model. Now we study how we arrange electrons in hydrogen atom. Now hydrogen atom we know that atomic number is 1 because 1 proton only. So 1 proton, 1 electron, 1 atomic number. So what we will write over here beta? This is nucleus of hydrogen atom, 1 proton only, neutron is not there, okay? And 1 electron only. This one is a K shell, so 1 electron we will put in a K shell. Next, carbon having a 6 atomic number and 12 mass number. 6 atomic number means 6 protons and 6 electrons. 12 mass number means that 12 minus 6 neutrons. So we are having a 6 protons, 6 neutrons and 6 electrons. So how we distribute electrons, protons and neutrons? 6 proton, 6 neutron will be in the nucleus. Now we are having 6 electrons. So this one is the K shell first. In K maximum of 2 electrons we will put, and in L we will put maximum of 8. Okay, but we left with how many electrons? 2 we given in K shell. So we left with 4 electrons. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 we will put in next shell. Same way for nitrogen we are having a 7 proton, 7 electron and 7 neutrons. So 7 proton, 7 neutron in nucleus, and 2 electrons, first 2 electrons we will put in K shell, and we left with how many? We left with then 5 electrons. So 5 electrons now we will put in L shell. Then oxygen, 8 protons, 8 electrons, 8 neutrons. So 8 proton, 8 neutron in nucleus, and first 2 electrons in K shell, and the next 6 electrons will be in the L shell. Sodium, 11 atomic number, 11 electrons, 11 protons, and we are having over here 23 minus 1, 12 neutrons. Okay, so 11 protons and 12 neutrons in nucleus. In first shell we are having 2 electrons in K shell. In next we will fill maximum of 8. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we get now 8 plus 2, 10 filled. We left with 1 electron that we will fill in M shell. So same way we will fill in chlorine. So beta, you have to keep in mind that in K shell maximum of 2 electrons we will fill. Rest electrons we will fill in L shell, and the remaining we will fill an M, and so on we will go up to N shell. Okay. In K maximum of 2 electrons, in L maximum 8, M maximum 8, and N also maximum 8. Now we talk about ion. So beta, we studied atom is electrically neutral, means number of electrons is equals to number of protons in an atom. So if we take example of chlorine, we know that we are having atomic number Z is equals to 17. It means that we are having a number of electrons 17, number of protons 17. Okay, 17 positive charges, 17 negative charges. So chlorine is electrically neutral. Now beta, if we add 1 electron to this chlorine, we will get 18 electrons, but number of protons 17 only. 17 only. Okay, so it means that this chlorine now become negatively charged. Why? Because one more negative charged particle is there. Okay, now this is called as ion. Same way, if we talk about sodium, in case of sodium beta, we are having 11 electrons and 11 protons. Okay, now beta, if we remove 1 electron from this sodium, we get only 10 electrons and 11 protons. Now we are having 1 extra positive charge. So now this sodium will become Na positive, and this is called as ion. So what is definition of ion? Ion means that we will have a different number of electrons and a different number of protons. Means that number of electrons will be different and number of protons will be different. If number of protons will be more, then ion will be positively charged. If number of electrons will be more, then ion will be negatively charged. With this beta, this chapter is finished. Thank you.